my name is Chuck. I'm owner of Faith and Archery here in Winder, Georgia. I'm going to do a little bow build video for you. Not really going into explanation of how I do things, just showing you what I do. Got my new hunting bow for this year. I'm actually going to do, this is going to be a little bit of a hybrid bow for me. Probably going to do some 3D shoots with it. Definitely going to be hunting with it this year. I did not hunt at all last year. Tried to get my son hunting. Just didn't have time for me to hunt at all. But this year I'm going after it. So unboxing new Sequel 35 from Darton. Obviously taking these things off. Careful with the knife. Don't cut your strings. So it's a new Sequel 35. This is the Folds of Honor edition. So some of the proceeds goes towards Folds of Honor to help our military. I think that's real cool. So we are not going to keep the factory strings. As always, I run Phantom Bowstrings with bloodline fiber. I think is the best combination as far as bowstrings out there. The Carter family, with their experience of building bowstrings, you can't go wrong with them. So that being said, let's get this thing started. Really like this camo. That camo is awesome. I've got one up here. I got a 33 for sale, so if you guys are interested, let me know. It's not going to sit here long, I don't think. So, but I am super excited. So let's get this thing rolling. Alright guys, I got my bow for this Sequel 35 7 bow press. We are, again, running the Phantom Bowstrings, red, white, and blue. We are going to nickname this bow Donald Thump. So, like it or not, I just think it's funny. Really never nicknamed a bow before, so let's roll with it. So, we're going to start off, get new strings on it, set cam timing first of all, then we'll set my knocking point, go through that, probably have some music going. Probably won't talk too much. Been dealing with bronchitis, so I don't want to cough too much. Alright, let's get rocking. I always save my old strings, just in case. You never know what happens. Factory strings are good. Darton has said they've come out with some strings that are made by somebody that are top end 452X. That's as much detail as I know. But again, me supporting Phantom, I'm gonna run Phantom. So this new timing system from Darton, absolutely ingenious. You don't actually have to take the bow in, or put the bow in a bow press and twist the cables. A little set screw, kind of hard to see, I apologize focusing, but a little set screw right here. You loosen it up, half turn, and then this twists. So as this twists, it twists the main cable. And you lock that set screw down, there you go. You can do a 1/16 of a turn, you can do a 3/4 of a turn. It's infinite. So amazing job from Darton. I love it. It's going to make things a lot simpler. It tune things very fast that way. And you tune things in the field. So far so good. This is not the hardest one I've ever done. I was told putting these cables back on this contraption, they're tuning the tuning yoke was a little difficult, but we'll see. String builder did exactly what I asked him to do, and I'll have to show you on this little one. He put a little twine right in the middle of the string, so I can get dead center and I don't have to count the fibers. Thank you. That was not that hard. Just had to make sure all the fibers were on there. Just gotta make sure the fiber lined up. Once it stretches out, all these fibers will settle in place. But still got the little tag end over here indicating the center of the string. I'll cut that off in here in a minute. I ain't worried about it right now. Then I'm just gonna twist this around. Just like that. Only thing I got left is the main string. So, the main string, if you don't have one of these, this thing makes things simple. Well, except when you do that. I hooked it differently than I usually do, so that's what happens. Show you what not to do. Alright, strings are on. Sorry, I got to throw lozenges in my mouth. But you're going to go through, double, triple check every connection. Always be safe. I'm going to double check these yokes. Make sure nothing's off. Alright. Alright. So I'm going to have it sit in here very loose. Barely any pressure at all. So I'm going to measure. This is supposed to be, I believe the axle length is supposed to be spot on 35 if I'm not mistaken. So I'm going to go one end of the, so the left side of the axle nut, we're 35 and the 16th. I mean, hair off. Which, timing marks, I can probably put a little bit of a twist. Let's check the cam timing first. But, hey, let's look at this bow. Red, white, and blue. That's sexy. I like it. Nah, looking at the cam timer from this side, that's about spot on. Maybe a little bit of adjustment on this cable, but we'll see how it pulls in the drawboard. So let's go ahead and set that up, set the drawboard, and we'll go from there. Alright, so what I usually generally start off with when I, before I put any D-loop, peep sight, or anything in, I'm going to put this thing on the draw board for a short period of time. 30, 45 minutes. I won't have that whole thing on the video, but I'm going to set my cam timing first. I want my cam timing to be spot on before I do anything else. So, I marked the center of the axle on the string. I'll go to where it stops and back off just a hair. Because one, I want to make sure this top may be just a hair ahead. I mean, a hair. So, what I'm going to do, because I can be picky with this, if there was any other bow in the market that didn't have this timing system, I wouldn't touch it. I would leave it right where it's at, because if I do a half twist on either cable, undo or put a twist in, put a twist out, take a twist out, it's going to go the opposite direction. So, I'm sorry, the screen's over here, I'm going to go here. But anyways, so what I'm going to do is, since this one is a hair ahead, I'm going to, usually I'd be twisting this cable. So, but I got to go down to this yoke at the bottom to make my adjustment. Loosen up just a hair. Now, we're going to go, that's going to be, I got to put some twist in. That simple. I just put a quarter twist into the system. It was that simple. So, quarter twist. Spot on. I mean, I can't get any better than that. So, what I'm going to do, like I said before, I'm going to back this thing all the way out. I got my Archery Designs scale, and I'm going to find where my peak weight is. Yeah, roughly there. Alright. So peak weight is usually not, it's somewhere in the middle somewhere. So I find that peak weight and that's it. So it's 11:30. I'm going to come back at 12 o'clock. And as long as that scale, once that scale stops moving, because as it sits, everything settles in, it's dropping. So I want to see that stop. And that's just the string settling in. So I'm going to give it about 30. Alright, so one of the things I checked earlier was the axle length. Axle length is a 35, but Darton's specs show 35 and 1/8. This measure 35 and 1/16. I'm only 1/16 off. So I'm good with that. It doesn't have to be exactly on specs. So long as I'm within 1/8, 16th, I'm fine with that. Yes, I prefer to be spot on. I'm OCD like that, but I'm within a 16th. I'm actually just under, so that'll just give me a little bit more, the hair more poundage. Not a big deal. So I do have the let's see, I've got the regular mods on here. I was supposed to get the 75% amount off mods. I did not get that. So I'm waiting on that order. I'm probably gonna try the speed mods to see how the speed mods work. See if I get any difference there, and go from there. But I set my draw length to 28 3/4. That's where I generally like to have it. I think it's going to be a 28.5, but I mean, tinker with some things to see if I can get a little more draw like that. I'm going to put the higher holding weight stop on there, so I like to have it around 15, 16 pounds on a hunting setup. So we're going to be running a couple things here. As always, Hamskea Trinity rest. Now, with the riser being so wide on these, that's the only issue that we run into. I do have to run it a hair inside. I can only get this rest to move over so far. Trying to come up with a solution to that, but it is what it is. So I can't do much about it. So we're going to mount the rest. What I generally do is just kind of eyeball it to get it to where it's straight. Snug that down good. Little set screw. That'll snug that down. Run a red cord. Not as if I got enough red on here, but I'm gonna run red cord. Make sure I got maybe a little excess. So you're gonna put this little sticky pad, or the little pad that comes with these things, just to give something cord to bite into. Set up the I tied basically this is the same knot you use for a for your D loops. I do the same knot at the bottom here, so I just use that, crank down on it, and that's where I've had my best luck. I mean, it's simple. Never had one go loose or come loose, so. And of course, forgot to put the little dampener on here. Dampener that comes with these, this Hamskea rest is a little rubber dampener. You want to get it within a couple inches of that limb. You don't want to have it in the middle somewhere. If you have it in the middle, it'll oscillate a lot after the shot, and it can actually cause your rest to pop back up. So you don't want that string to oscillate too much. You want it to basically pretty solid. You want it to, this is just to help keep as much vibration out of the rest as possible. So leave it loose for now. Don't have to tighten it for right now, just because I gotta set my arrow height. I'm just gonna go through all the accessories while we're at it. Now I've been running a Spot Hog Boonie with Ultra View. It's a 3-pin. It's the three up pin. So it's not the 3 coming in from the side, and you got the 4th bonus pin. I tried it. I don't like it personally. For adjustability to get to 20, 30, 40, yes, it's great. I don't like pins coming in from the side. Doing so much target archery and things like that, it doesn't suit well to my eye. I have a tough time seeing it. My brain doesn't like it. So we're going to go into the higher mounting holes. They got 2 different mounting holes. If you're 60 pounds or less, if you're pulling like lower poundage. I'd probably go in the lower holes. Since I'm pulling mid 60s, we'll start here and see where it ends up. I think I don't think the previous model years had that. Now I'm thinking of it. So I usually just use my T-handles to get it snug. Come back with my Allen keys. Don't crank down too hard. If you're worried about coming loose, you put a blue Loctite on there, but don't go nuts. It just has to be tight. I've never had one come loose. So we're just gonna go one of the middle notches. I'll level that out here in just a little bit. Stabilizers. I'm gonna have to mess with this. I don't know what setup I'm gonna run. I've got some old. I got some of these Ultra View quick disconnects. I'm gonna run those for right now, since I'm an Ultra View dealer. I know they don't sell them anymore, but I got them sitting around. All right. That should be good enough there. Alright, so we're going to be running the Conquest Control Freak. These are the smaller diameters. Ran these on my Sequel 33 last year. Pretty happy with them. 12-inch back, 12-inch front. Pretty simple. They match up pretty good. That should be pretty well. Looks sharp. Looks good. I like it. So. Alright, so one thing I'm always going to check is knock fit. This is, I don't have any wiggle going this way, so it is pretty good, but it's fairly loose. It does come off pretty simple. I'm going to leave it because, again, I'm going to go back and forth maybe with being a hybrid setup and doing target archery or for 3D. And hunting, so I do like a little bit looser knock. Personally, if I was heading in for a customer, it'd probably be a hair tighter, depending on the customer. So what I like to do as far as my rest is I'm going to look right down the pipe, or what I call the pipe is I'm going to look right down the center of the, and I'm actually pretty excited about this because last year I couldn't do this. I'm going to adjust it with that arrow. That arrow is dead center. So it's right down the center of everything. Which on the Trinity rest I couldn't do that before. So they may have made the riser just a hair thinner, which thank you, Darton. Appreciate it. Thank you. Because on my departure that I have, I'm running a hair right, which is not a huge issue. It still pounds very, very well. So it shoots. I can tune it out. But preference-wise, I'd like to have a dead center. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to level this out. So now I'm going to grab my Amski levels. That rest definitely has to come up though. Alright. So we're going to move that rest up because I want to get, what I want is I want the arrow to be dead center of the axles, and I bump it up maybe a 16th to an 1/8 at best from that point. What we're going to do is going to measure top of the limb to bottom of the limb. 35 1/4, so that'd be 17 3/4. So what I generally do is if I can get that bottom of the shaft especially on a 204 shaft, if I can get the bottom of the shaft to that halfway mark, which it's dead on right now, I'm gonna leave it right there. Well, that's my starting point. That gives me about between a 16th and an 1/8 of an inch knock high. My bubble may want to come down just a hair on the rest, just to start right there. Alright, when we go to shooting it, that'll be a telltale sign. I may have to move the rest up or down a little bit from there. So, alright, so we got the arrow rest set, and we're talking about the arrow spine. I'm running a little bit stiff on the arrow spine compared to what I probably ought to be running. I'm looking for that little extra weight, running 50 grains out front through the iron will system, 25 grain collar, 25 grain insert, 100 grain point. So compared to the Black Eagle Rampage, they run 52 grain half out system, so we got a 100 grain point, run about the same. I probably could run a little bit heavier, go to maybe 175, but I don't like that. I'm not an FOC guy. So 428 grain arrow. I've killed plenty of deer with that. Alright, so right now we're going to tie in my soft knots. Start with that. Ooh, what do I want to do? I'm going to go blue. This is beeswax. So I put a little beeswax on the serving material that I use, or the what I use for my soft knots. I snug that down. Don't crank down on too hard. You crank down on too hard, what's going to happen is you're going to go past the center serving and into the string and start separating your center serving. You don't want to do that. You want to try to keep that center serving as nice as possible. Generally, I talked about the knocked fitment earlier. If I didn't like the knocked fitment, I instantly go ahead and reserve it to something that will fit better. I still may change it, but I want to see how it shoots first. Not entirely sure if this is the knock I'm going to be running. This is the Gold Tip GTO Mini Knock. I've been using it for several years. For my target bow, I've been running the biter knocks recently to test them, and so far I've really liked them. So I've been running the Hunters. They've held up a lot better, put it that way. Occasionally with these GTO minis, I've had problems with them breaking. I've had several arrows go down range after they've broke. Literally the knock blows up as soon as I shot. Wasn't very happy about it. Scared me. So I thought I blew up my bow. But one time I actually had to replace my strings because it happened. So I had a string that elongated, and there was, I could see a separation in the serving. So I went ahead and replaced it. So Better safe than sorry. I didn't want to take a chance. So here what I do is I get it to where there's a little bit of a, it's definitely a longer axle bow. I'm not going to run as much spacing here, but I want it to where it just got a little bit of a, like a 30 seconds of an inch or something, just something very minor gap. So you get the full draw, it holds the knock very well, it doesn't pinch the knock, it just holds it. I did 3 knots on top. With a longer axle bow, I'm going to do 4 knots on the bottom. I found that's been better for me. If it's a shorter axle bow, I'm going to do 3 and 3. But for longer axles, I would say 33 and above. 33 is kind of like that magic. I can go either way, so it's a magic number. But the other thing what the wax does is when I burn these ends in, the wax melts and kind of holds that knot in place. I know some people like to put glue on there. No, don't put glue on there. Next we're going to center, put my peep in. I'm going to put a Raptor peep in for right now. I've got an Insight, one of the new Insights peeps coming in. It's on back order, but I'm going to temporarily tie in a Raptor peep for right now. May just leave it in, who knows. But again, if I'm going to do 3D, I'm going to want that Insight peep. Then I tie my D-loop and maybe we'll go shoot it. So. Alright, so here I don't have any. I could do red. I'm going to do white. I personally kind of like the white D-loop material. It seems to be a little bit more flexible. I'm gonna leave it right there, and we're just gonna see where it is. Different bow. It's probably gonna be up closer up here. So, all right, let's get this D-loop snug down a little bit, just there, with this cord right here. So I'm going to tie this probably about a quarter of the way down. Right about there. Tie. But this allows me, so if I ever need to make an adjustment to the rest, I can, adjustment to the rest, I can loosen the screw here, and this is still, it'll slide up and down. It will hold on to the string or this cable well enough to hold the rest down. So I can make adjustment now. It won't hold through a shot, but it will hold through just making adjustments. So I'm going to step outside, check my P-pipe, set my P-pipe, come back in, temporarily tie it in, and then we'll go shoot through some paper. So we got the Sequel 35 Folds of Honor edition, Phantom Bowstrings. Still got to dial in the problem, my stabilizer system. Let's see what this thing does through paper, and go from there. You got it set to 64.5 pounds. Height wise, I knew it was going to be a little bit off. A little bit of a low tear. We do have a pretty decent size left tear. So, left tear, I would generally shim over one to the left. And just because of the size of the tear, I'm probably going to do that. I don't think I'm going to shoot one more. I'm going to see what it looks like. So, because of the size of the tear, I'm going to not use this yet. I'm going to actually shim the cam over. I've got 2 shims and a bird just flew right by my face. I hope that got caught on camera because it literally just went whoop right here. Anyways, I've got 2 small shims on this left side, 2 little red shims. Same thing in the bottom. So I'm gonna pull the axles out, move 1 shim over to the right side. Then I'm gonna come back and shoot it again. I'm hoping I may have still a hair left hair, but maybe a small right hair. We'll see. If it's a small right hair, and I may go back to my shims. I got a whole shim kit that I can maybe shim it a little bit back to the right. I'd prefer to leave it where it's at right now, but with the size of the tear that's on there now, it's about a 3/4 inch tear. Yeah, that may be due to the stiff spine that I've got. So to run a stiffer spine, I've always had a left tear, and I've always had to shim everything to the left. So let me go fix that, and I'll be right back. All right, so now that I've shimmed the cam over just a hair, so if I look down, yeah, I may want to shim them. I may go back. We'll see. I want to see how it shoots first. So. Alright, so I had battery issues, so I apologize. So where we're at is I got a bowl, but I had 2 red shims on the left, which is basically a 32nd shim, a .032. Yeah, 32 thousandths shim. So I had 2 red ones on the left, 1 black spacer on the right. I moved 1 red shim to the right, so I shifted the cam a good bit to the left. Notice that there was a lot of cam lean, so which I don't mind, but I'd prefer to try to have the cams as straight as possible. So got a bowl hole, went back upstairs, went ahead and put a 45,000 shim on the left, put a couple 12,000 shims on the right. Should even everything out. We'll see where we're at, and then we'll see if we can use these to tune everything out. So let's see where we're at this point. Okay. So what I expected was a hair left tear, which it's very minute. So now I get to tinker with this system to see how that works. So hair left tear, believe I'm going to actually tighten this side down first. So we're going to go, quarter, I'm going to go half turn there. Half turn on the both left side limbs. I could be wrong on that. Gotta move it to the right side. Exactly what I thought. So, then half turn. All right. I prefer this over messing around with top hats. Top hats are not that hard though. That being said, where we're at this point, bow shoots pretty much a bullet hole now. There's a lot more tuning things I'm going to be doing to fine tune everything, get everything dialed in exactly the way I like it, especially for 3D season. This is with a hunting arrow. I'll paper tune it again for an actual 3D arrow, but PS23. That being said, if you have any questions, need help with anything, I work on everything. I don't care what bow you have. Again, this bow, Donald Thump, this thing is a shooter. It's going to be a shooter. I really like it. Tune's very easy. Darton, you've done an amazing job this year with this bow. Thank you for your support. Check me out on Instagram and Facebook. Check out my website. Look at my testimonial on my website. Again, raising arrows through archery, through missions. As arrows are in the hands of a mighty warrior, so are the children of one's youth. Faith is the main thing for me and my family. We're here to support you through archery, but also through our Christian faith. So, you have any questions, you feel the need, you need to talk to somebody, archery or not, give me a call. So, love you. God bless. See you next time.